Without further ado, our finale speaker this evening, the one, the only, Michelle Vought.
Attention, everyone. Concert B-flat scale, please. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In music, we love structure. All band rehearsals and concerts always start with a concert B-flat scale warm-up to get in tune. Concert B-flat isn't anything flashy or exciting, but I could depend on it. As a musician, I liked knowing what was coming, and I liked the structure. And that's how I expected my life to be: structured, well-tuned, and in tempo. I didn't want anything edgy or unexpected. As a good little preacher's daughter, I just wanted to follow the path and fit in. Our family was a huge Disney family who took an annual pilgrimage to Walt Disney World every year. I grew up knowing every character, every fairy tale, and every princess. So allow me to use a Disney analogy. I wanted to be like Cinderella. Though I, of course, knew they were just fairy tales, somewhere inside, I assumed if I was patient, my prince would show up and choose me. Because in my generation, I also learned that young women waited to be chosen, which was why packaging was absolutely critical. I believed that all I had to do was get all prettied up, tell the truth, be nice to others, have good manners, obediently wait for my prince, and everything would fall into place. And just like a Disney princess, we would live happily ever after. Seriously? I am sure you can guess where this is going. My prince did not magically appear, but I did manage to get myself a job teaching music and performing a lot, which did allow me to get on stage wearing pretty dresses, which made me feel just like a princess. You may be sensing a theme here. As my music career progressed, I was ecstatic to nab 2 full scholarships for both master's and doctoral degrees in vocal performance. Now I was truly finding my own way and singing as I did it. Kind of reminds me of another Disney princess. I mean, Ariel does have that voice. Oh, and that gorgeous red hair. During my years spent in Cincinnati at the prestigious Conservatory of Music, I had the best job of my life. I was the Cincinnati pickle lady. I would get dressed in a green tuxedo, complete with a green top hat and a green bow tie, and drive around in a green van with a 7-foot styrofoam pickle strapped to the roof of the van. My job was to cruise around town in my pickle van, promoting pickle purchases at local grocery stores. I am sure I look like some character out of a cartoon. What was that you say? Why, yes, Fiona from Shrek would be the perfect analogy here. Not sure if Fiona would be driving around town with a 7-foot green pickle that looks like a, ding dong. But as you can imagine, I did get a lot of stares and rude remarks while stopped at traffic lights. Around this time, I noticed that my left thigh was getting bigger and harder. I assumed it was because that leg got a workout every time I hopped in and out of the pickle van. I became concerned, however, when my leg began to ache. I dismissed it, thinking it was nothing since I was only 29 after all, and ignored it. Months later, when the pain got worse, I finally went to the university health clinic where they sent me immediately for a CAT scan that afternoon. As I was lying there getting scanned, I recall the tech asking me if I had ever had a fall or an injury on that leg, to which I frantically asked, "No, why? What do you see?" He replied, "Well, I am not at liberty to discuss that with you, miss." Since I was more than a little freaked out, my boyfriend and I drank a lot of beer that weekend. On Monday morning, I learned that I had a tumor in my leg the size of a baseball, and that I needed to see a specialist that afternoon. What? Can this be real? Oh, crap. This was not the Princess Perfect path I planned for. Now, somehow I had to figure out how to be brave. After many awkward visits with various doctors, I was told it was a very rare malignant tumor called sarcoma, and that it could have been in me for 7 years due to its large size. They told me I was fortunate to be in their hospital where they were doing aggressive treatment on patients with sarcomas. Just 10 years earlier, the only treatment would have been amputation. Whoa. I felt like I was living a nightmare. 29 years old, single, and now facing a life-threatening illness. As hard as it was, the Disney princess I turned to is still my favorite to this day, Merida. I mean, the title of her movie is Brave. There I stood, trying to be brave. The cancer treatment started with 4 days of chemotherapy, pumping 9 bags of adriamycin into my femoral artery, followed by 22 radiation treatments and major surgery to remove the tumor. All of this would be followed by a course of physical therapy and chest x-rays for 10 years. That semester, I was cast in an opera playing the role of the French maid, where I climbed up and down a ladder in fishnets and heels. Since the assistant dean said I'd lose my scholarship if I withdrew, I stayed enrolled while undergoing treatment. I realize now that staying in school and in the opera was probably one of the best things I could have done to participate in my own healing. I was doing what I love to do, and frankly, I didn't have time to be a full-time cancer patient. So I hobbled up and down that ladder playing the vivacious French maid with second-degree radiation burns on my leg, taking Tylenol for the pain, and wearing my wig. Thank you, Merida, for my inspiration. So now I have a wicked 13-inch scar and a limp. I know I am a miracle, though, since doctors always look at my chart, then say, "Little lady, do you know how lucky you are?" I do. And I live differently today as a result of that experience. I ordered the lobster instead of the meatloaf, and I sure as heck know that I'm not ever gonna wait till I'm dying to start living. I did eventually find my prince. There was a marriage. There was a divorce. Let's just say Beauty and the Beast. After that, I faced the challenges of being a single mom for 8 years till I met someone. Obviously, my Disney tale was totally off the rails because this time I married a princess. We were very happy, but then out of nowhere, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I couldn't believe it. I had already had my cancer, and lightning is not supposed to strike twice, right? According to my doctor, the breast cancer was nothing compared to the sarcoma years prior. That was good news, I guess. No one ever wants to hear the C word. So once again, I got brave and soldiered through radiation and 2 lumpectomies. So here I am, still standing, the Cincinnati pickle lady, twice divorced, with a scarred and messed up left side, but feeling happier and freer than ever before. Oh, I get lonely sometimes, and I don't always want to be brave. But I also realized recently that having my freedom and independence, which I absolutely cherish, means that I sometimes will get lonely and that I sometimes just have to be brave for myself. And I don't always need a prince or a princess in my storyline at all. Just like Elsa, the Queen of Arendelle. She faces her own demons and gets to learn the power of who she really is. She is one of the only Disney princesses who is not so concerned about landing a prince or a princess. You let it go, girl. I had no idea that I'd be capable of being happy on the twists and turns of my own wild ride, instead of taking the prescribed Disney ride. To quote another single brave Disney woman, wardrobe malfunction. To quote another brave Disney woman named Moana, there's just no telling how far I'll go.